Tonight on DC News Now at 5, county officials held a news conference on the spike in violent crime in Prince George's County, and they discussed how they plan on addressing the problem. Also tonight, a big win for the former president, how it shifts the investigation into the documents found at his Florida home. And an injured cat was treated after a bombing destroyed 2 buildings in Ukraine. Well, rain is moving in tonight. Lots for some of you. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 5. I'm Mark Hall. Let's check in with meteorologist Damon Madsen. And Damon, the potential for a soggy night for a lot of folks in the region.
That's exactly right, Mark. We've been tracking this threat for heavy rainfall throughout the entire day, and now we're starting to see some of that rain move right into the heart of the viewing area. Now, as far as our flood watch is concerned, this has been in effect since earlier on today. It goes until 6 a.m. on Tuesday, and this flood watch is just for our western counties along and west of the Interstate 81 corridor. That includes places like Cumberland, Winchester, Martinsburg, and Hagerstown, where there already has been some significant rainfall today. This watch has yet to be expanded east, but as we go into the night tonight, we'll have to keep a close eye. This very easily could be expanded out to the rest of the viewing area with time, and here is the reason why. There's the satellite and radar picture. It's mostly been raining along and west of I-81. We already have a few showers popping up south of D.C., but zooming in a little bit here, we can see that more concentrated area of heavier rainfall, and this has been our concern. Some of these heavier bands are hitting some of the same locations, including across western Washington County. Look at those heavier cells crossing right near Hancock, just to the west of Hagerstown. That's where some of those heavier rainfall amounts are, and that's what could lead to some flooding issues over the rest of the evening and overnight. And there's a closer look at some of those cells now popping up just south of D.C. toward the I-95 corridor. This steadier rain is going to keep on slowly moving east as we move ahead through the rest of the night. So from here on out, pretty much everyone is going to trend in that soggy direction as those steadier showers and thunderstorms continue as we go through the next few hours. But we still are not going to see the steadiest rainfall until we get deep into the night tonight after midnight, and then especially as we head into that early morning rush hour for everyone tomorrow morning. So I'll be timing out exactly when we will see that heaviest rainfall and how much we could see coming up here in just a bit.
Armed and dangerous children. Those are 2 very, very difficult words for me to even put together. Armed and dangerous children.
Breaking tonight, Prince George's County under curfew. This after a violent weekend of shootings, and we learned today that August was the deadliest month on record. And there's a dramatic increase in violent youth crimes. DC News Now's Katie Rees live outside the Magic Johnson Capitol Center Theater, where 2 people were shot this weekend. Katie, what's the plan?
Good evening, Mark. Now, kids here in Prince George's County who are under the age of 17, they'll now have to abide by a curfew that starts at around 10 p.m. on most nights. And County Executive Angela Alsobrooks is now calling on parents to help local leaders and local law enforcement to help curb this issue.
These are children committing these crimes, targeting other children and targeting adults. Armed and dangerous children. Those are 2 very, very difficult words for me to even put together. Armed and dangerous children.
County Executive Angela Alsobrooks now calling on parents to help the county, all to address the rise in violent crime among kids. This all comes on the heels of the deadliest month over the last 3 decades in the county, and after 430 arrests of kids.
The enforcement of this law is to protect our children. Children 17 years old and younger are not legally responsible for themselves. Neither are police. Their parents are responsible, and their families are responsible for keeping them safe.
The new curfew will be in place for 30 days, and it will be enforced from 10 at night to 5 in the morning, Sunday through Thursday, and then again from midnight to 5 in the morning on Fridays and Saturday nights.
How are we going to do that? We're going to pull over every child that we see walking by? Where are we going to hold them? What are we going to do if the parent doesn't answer? Now we're talking about bringing in social services. Do they have enough people?
Some members of the county council question the measures, saying the county needs to focus on the root of the problems.
I'm just not convinced that our young people who are engaging in carjackings or that are carrying around guns are going to simply abide by a curfew.
Other community members say the curfew should have been put into place earlier.
I definitely think it would help because it's giving the parents a responsibility to be in at a certain time. If the child keeps getting picked up after curfew, then the parents have no control.
And now this curfew will go into place starting this weekend and will run for 30 days. Now, for kids who are out after that 10 p.m. curfew, the first time it's a warning. The second time, the parents will be fined $100. Then the third time, that fine will go up to $250. And if a parent doesn't respond when their child is picked up or if they're cited for that curfew violation, those kids will then be released to child services. But for now, reporting in Prince George's County, Katie Reed, DC News Now.
Katie, thank you. Well, the county executive, Angela Alsobrooks, also calling for accountability. She essentially blamed the courts and prosecutors, and she said that too many people who get arrested are back out on the streets, and she wants the courts and prosecutors to start publicly disclosing what happens to people after they're arrested and go through the court system. She also wants police to post arrests on a dashboard that everyone can see. Well, here are the numbers just this year. 430 juveniles have been arrested. That's twice as many as this time last year. 84 juveniles arrested for carjackings. 55 of those had prior arrests. 34 of the priors were for guns or violent crime. And listen to this. Half of those, some more than 40, were under the age of 15. A Fairfax County man now being charged with murder and the killing of his wife early Sunday morning. Police say 62-year-old James Johnson shot and killed his wife, 59-year-old Daphne Saunders Johnson, before he shot himself at their Alexandria home at Central Park Circle. Daphne Johnson died at the hospital. James Johnson is still hospitalized with critical injuries. Fairfax County prosecutor says that once James is released from the hospital, that he'll be brought straight to jail to await a trial for second-degree murder. Also in Prince George's County, a man was shot and killed in Bladensburg Sunday night. Police found the victim at an apartment on 58th Avenue. First responders tried to save the man's life, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The victim's name has not been released, and police are looking for the shooter and asking you to call them if you can help in any way.
It's unfortunate that a young man lost his life. Our heart go out to his family, to his community. So we're going to make sure that we do the best job we can, working in partnership and collaboration with our partners in the Prince George's County Homicide Division.
Again, if you have any information about this case, give police in Prince George's County a call. Well, an important update tonight on former President Donald Trump and the Mar-a-Lago search. A federal judge has approved his legal team's request to appoint a special master to review the documents that were seized by the FBI. The Justice Department was against the decision. Officials had already completed their review of potentially privileged documents. The former president's legal team argued it was necessary to ensure an independent review of the records. This would allow for personal information or documents to be returned to the former president if they were not relevant to this case. The judge said that she did not think this decision will affect the outcome of the probe, but it is most likely going to delay the department's investigation. David Weinstein, a Florida criminal defense attorney and former Justice Department prosecutor, weighs in on where things stand, saying, quote, "While this is a victory for the former president, it is by no means an overwhelming one. While it is a setback for the government, it's also not a devastating loss for them." Well, backing President Biden, a Maryland congressman, is standing behind the president and pushing forward in the congressional investigation into January 6th. Well, last week, former President Donald Trump once again pushed the narrative that the 2020 election was stolen just a few days after the president's primetime address. Now, on Face the Nation Sunday, Congressman Jamie Raskin said that his party needs to keep standing up to that kind of rhetoric.
Our country is paying a terrible price for the rigged election. I ran twice, I won twice, and did much better the second time than I did the first. Getting millions and millions more votes in 2020 than we got in 2016.
Two of the hallmarks of a fascist political party are, one, they don't accept the results of elections that don't go their way, and two, they embrace political violence. And I think that's why President Biden was right to sound the alarm this week about these continuing attacks on our constitutional order from the outside by Donald Trump and his movement.
And the congressman also said the January 6th committee could call on more higher-profile figures to testify, like Ginny Thomas, the wife of Justice Clarence Thomas, and former House Speaker Newt Gingrich. Well, a Mississippi man is denied bond after being accused of stealing a $1 million plane and threatening to crash it into a Walmart. Corey Patterson is charged with grand larceny and making terroristic threats. Patterson was a 10-year employee at the aviation company that owns the plane.